Ahoyt, mates. I am Adam. Welcome to the Vintage Sanctuary. Why would I start the Vintage Sanctuary with Ahoyt? Because this player is a pirate. Not only that, this player is a Hoyt. I have wanted a card of this player for some time because he was a significant Yankees contributor. Was it worth the wait? Well, let me get you looking at the card. And I'm going to change the lighting here. This card was precisely worth the wait because this card is the Waite, Waite Hoyt. Ouch, the YouTube bad pun strikes are coming my way. Well, I hoyt to say it, but if I just wait it out, I should be fine. Boo. Born in 1899, Hoyt was signed by the Giants when he was 15 years old. Because he was so young, he was nicknamed the Schoolboy Wonder or simply Schoolboy. Played in pinstripes from 1921 to 1930, Hoyt was a dominant hurler for the New York Yankees, with whom he won 6 pennants and 3 World Series championships in 1923, 1927, and 1928. In fact, 1927 and 1928 were his best years. In 1927, Waite had a 22-win, 7-loss record with a 2.64 ERA. And in 1928, Waite had a 23-win, 7-loss record with a 3.36 ERA. And of course, the 1927 Yankees are considered by many to be the best team ever in Major League Baseball history. As a Yankee, Hoyt's World Series record was 6 wins, 3 losses. At the time of his retirement in 1938, his 6 World Series victories were tied for the most by any pitcher in Major League Baseball history. Wow. Hoyt finished his career with 237 wins, including 157 of those wins during his Yankee tenure. Hoyt was a longtime member of Alcoholics Anonymous. He said he probably would have won 300 games if he had quit drinking during his playing days. Nonetheless, Waite Hoyt was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1969. He worked as a funeral director when he wasn't playing baseball, so he was known as the Merry Mortician. Hoyt was also a vaudeville entertainer, appearing with well-known performers such as Jack Benny and George Burns. Plus, Hoyt played semi-pro basketball in the off-season, which kept him in great physical condition despite the drinking. As if this were not enough, Hoyt became an accomplished painter and writer. And Hoyt was well known as the preeminent authority on Babe Ruth, who was his teammate for almost 10 years. After his playing days, Hoyt went into broadcasting. He became the play-by-play voice of the Cincinnati Reds for 24 years. He became as much a celebrity with the Reds as he was while a player. He was well known for calling games exclusively in past tense, which is unusual for sportscasting. A typical Hoyt call went something like, the shortstop fielded the ball, threw it to first, and the runner beat the throw. Hoyt felt past tense was more accurate because, as I speak to you, what happened a moment ago is gone. On August 16, 1948, Hoyt paid tribute to Babe Ruth, speaking on the air without notes for 2 hours upon learning of his death after a game. Hoyt was known for entertaining radio audiences with anecdotes during rain delays. Hoyt was one of the first professional athletes to develop a successful career in broadcasting, and his name frequently appears on all-time best broadcaster lists. All right, let's take a look at this beauty. Wait for it. Wow, check out this beauty. Some would say it's average for the grade, but I beg to differ. It's off-center to the top, but that leaves a large white border at the bottom, And that large white border at the bottom, I think that really enhances the grassy ground there. So I'm giving this a 10 for having a thick white border at the bottom. And those rounded corners, those indicate this card was well loved, probably by a child, and this card was used for its intended purposes, enhancing its historical significance and nostalgic appeal. So I am giving this stunner a 10 for historical significance and a 10 for nostalgic appeal. It's also got kind of a wispy, the colors are bright, but it has sort of a wispy dirtiness on the surface. I don't know if it shows up in the video here, but I'm giving this card a 10 for the wispy dirtiness on the surface that enhances its vintage appeal. And now let's check out the back. Look at the foxing around the edges, just that dark toning around the edges. Again, I'm giving this stunner a 10 for dark toning around the edges that just enhances the vintage appeal. And that green, that's just one of the most beautiful greens ever. This is my first 1933 Gouty, so I'm giving this card a 10 for having the most gorgeous green on the reverse. Not only that, but those red socks go so well with the red in the cap there, as well as the red on the Big League chewing gum banner. So guess what, guys? I'm giving this card a 10 for the red socks that go so well with the rest of the card. Red, yellow, and green. What a sweet combo. What a gorgeous card. I have to tell you something funny. Am I brilliant or am I not so bright? Well, I would say both, depending on a lot of things. Maybe the time of day, how much sleep I've had, lots of factors. Anyway, when I get cards of these Yankee contributors, I usually like to get them in a Yankee uniform. And if I cannot afford a card from their playing days, I still will look for a vintage card, but it will be in their Yankee uniform. Well, guess what? It wasn't until later that night after I had purchased this card, or even the next day, that I realized Waite Hoyt is not in a Yankees uniform here. I realized, hey, he's not in a Yankees uniform. Now, how could I overlook that? Well, I saw the card. It spoke to me. I said, wow, that card is just beautiful. And so I said, oh, that's Waite Hoyt. He's one of the Yankee contributors that I do not have. And so I bought it. And I was stoked to have it. And then later that night, it was like, oh, he's not in a Yankees uniform. But you know what? That is perfectly fine. Maybe at some point I'll get a Waite Hoyt playing days card in a Yankees uniform. But he's still Waite Hoyt. He was still a significant Yankees contributor. And this is a gorgeous color card in my first 1933 Gouty. So I am so stoked to have this stunning beauty in my collection. Thank you guys for sharing in my joy. I hope you had a wonderful and peaceful time in the Vintage Sanctuary.